All right, so get ready, because today we are diving into one of my absolute favorite films.
Oh, a classic.
Yes, Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs from
Nice.
1992. This crime film. I mean, it's not just a cult classic.
Yeah.
It's a film that really makes you think. And you've provided us with some really insightful analysis. And today we are going to explore
Awesome.
what makes this movie so captivating.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's one that really breaks the mold.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be taking a look at its very unique plot structure and those iconic characters and how they kind of challenge our perceptions of good and bad.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're going to get into, like, Tarantino's distinct style.
Oh, for sure. Okay, let's jump right in.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you watch a heist film that doesn't show you the heist?
Right. Like, he makes this bold choice to start it with just this ordinary diner conversation.
Yeah.
We get introduced to the crew,
Yeah.
Mr. White, Mr. Pink, Nice Guy Eddie,
Yep.
before any of the action starts.
Exactly.
And then, boom,
Boom.
we're in the aftermath.
Yeah.
And you're, like, scrambling to figure out what happened through these flashbacks.
Yeah, like we're solving a puzzle along with the characters, and we're
Sure.
trapped in this, like, tense
Yeah.
warehouse setting.
That claustrophobic warehouse,
Huh?
that's not just a setting, it's like another character.
Oh,
It really increases the paranoia and distrust
yeah.
because they're on edge already,
Yeah.
knowing that somebody messed up, somebody betrayed them.
Okay, so speaking of the characters, let's talk about those color-coded aliases.
Yes.
You got Mr. White, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde. I mean, it's such a brilliant touch.
That's so ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like these aliases that are supposed to make them anonymous
Yeah,
actually highlight their personality.
totally.
Like their names give you a hint of what to expect,
Yeah.
but then he plays with those expectations.
Right,
Makes you reevaluate your assumptions as the story unfolds.
right.
Like take Mr. Blonde, for example.
Yeah.
He is anything but blonde in the traditional sense.
Definitely not. He's cold, he's calculated, and he's capable of, like, shocking
Yeah.
violence.
Yes, and that anonymity just adds another layer to this whole, like, web of trust and betrayal
Oh, for sure.
that Tarantino weaves.
Yeah.
You're constantly guessing,
Yes.
trying to figure out who to believe.
Exactly, exactly. And then there's the big reveal.
Yeah.
The fact that one of them is an undercover cop.
It throws everything into question
Mm-hmm.
and forces us to look at our own perceptions of, like, loyalty and morality.
For sure.
Think about it. Who do you end up sympathizing with?
That's what's so fascinating about Reservoir Dogs.
Yep.
It's not just a cops and robbers story. It's
No.
a psychological exploration of these characters,
Same
some
here.
motivations, and how far they're willing to go.
Absolutely. Like, take Mr. White and Mr. Orange.
Yeah.
Mr. White takes Mr. Orange under his wing,
Yeah.
shows a level of compassion and concern that you just don't expect in this world
You don't.
of hardened criminals.
Right. It makes you wonder, are those feelings genuine? Or is it all part of, like, Mr. White's carefully constructed persona,
Yes.
and then the truth comes out?
And everything changes.
And everything changes.
That reveal is heartbreaking
Oh, it is.
because it shows you just how loyal Mr. White is.
Yeah.
Tarantino isn't afraid to explore, like, the complexities of human relationships, even in this brutal criminal underworld.
He challenges us to consider the idea that even bad people
Right.
can have genuine connections,
Yeah.
and that betrayal can be a deeply personal and devastating experience.
And he does it all in this, like, remarkably minimalist setting.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of the film takes place in this stark industrial warehouse.
Right.
It just makes the drama that much more intense.
Totally. It's proof that you don't need, like, elaborate sets or special effects
Right.
to create a captivating story.
It's all about the dialogue, the emotion,
Yeah.
the direction.
Okay, speaking of masterful direction,
Hmm?
we can't forget about Tarantino's use of music.
Oh, the music.
It's not just background noise. It's
integral to the storytelling.
yeah.
It's incredible, like, the way he blends iconic 70s tracks
Yeah.
with these scenes of graphic violence. It's jarring,
It's John.
but it's also brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's like he's playing with our expectations,
Yes.
making us question our own comfort levels
Totally.
with violence and entertainment.
It's true.
Like the infamous torture scene set to Stuck in the Middle with You.
Exactly.
Perfect example.
It's horrifying, but then it's also strangely amusing.
It's so strong.
It shows you just how well he can blend humor and violence
Yeah.
in a way that is unsettling, but also thought-provoking.
It's that blend of darkness and wit, that unexpected juxtaposition that makes Reservoir Dogs so compelling. It's not just a crime thriller.
Right.
It's like a commentary on cinematic conventions and audience expectations.
Totally. And it's all driven by his signature dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
Sharp, witty, and so quotable.
Yes.
His characters don't just talk.
Right.
They like spar with words.
They do.
You learn so much about their personalities and motivations through the way they talk.
Totally. And it's like every line
Yes.
is so carefully crafted.
I know.
Balancing like humor, tension, and a surprising amount of depth.
Think about that opening diner scene.
Yeah.
They're talking about tipping etiquette and Madonna lyrics.
It's so good.
But it tells you so much about their personalities and the group dynamic.
Right. Those like seemingly trivial conversations actually lay the groundwork for like the betrayals
Right.
and power struggles that unfold later.
Yeah, he's a master of using like subtext and symbolism to enrich the storytelling.
It's so clear that every detail in Reservoir Dogs is deliberate. From the character names to the song choices. I mean, it's a film that demands your attention.
Absolutely.
Rewards multiple viewings and leaves you with a lot to ponder.
And speaking of things to ponder, we've only just scratched the surface of this cinematic gem.
I know.
We'll be back after a quick break to explore the deeper themes and lasting impact of Reservoir Dogs.
I can't wait. It's going to be good.
It is. It's amazing how much he accomplishes with such limited settings.
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically confined to that one warehouse.
Right.
But the tension, the energy.
Doesn't let up.
No, not at all.
And speaking of limitations, you mentioned that we never actually see the heist itself.
Right.
What do you think is the significance of that choice?
I think it's genius, actually.
Yeah.
It shifts the focus from like the action to the psychological drama.
Right.
So by withholding the actual heist, Tarantino forces us to rely on the characters' accounts of what happened.
Okay.
So we're piecing together the events through these like fragmented memories, individual biases, and their growing paranoia.
So it's not just about what happened.
Exactly.
But how each character like perceives and reinterprets those events.
And that unreliable narration just adds to the suspense.
For sure.
We never know who's telling the truth.
Right.
Who's holding back.
Exactly.
And who is ultimately responsible for this botched heist.
It's like we're trapped in this maze of suspicion right alongside them.
Totally.
And then there's that moment when Mr. Orange's true identity is revealed.
Talk about a betrayal.
Oh, man.
It like reframes everything.
Yeah.
We thought we knew about these characters and their relationships.
Right.
Mr. White's compassion for Mr. Orange. It takes on this whole other...
It's tragic.
Tragic layer.
Yeah, it makes you question
it does.
The nature of trust and loyalty, especially in a world where everyone seems to have ulterior motives.
Right.
How can you truly connect with someone when you don't even know their real name?
That's like the central dilemma that Tarantino's exploring. He forces us to confront this idea that even the strongest bonds can be shattered by deception.
Yeah.
And that the lines between right and wrong, I mean...
they get blurred.
They get so blurred.
Think about the moral implications of Mr. Orange's actions.
Right.
I mean, he's undercover trying to bring down this criminal organization.
Right.
But at what cost?
Exactly.
He betrays the trust of someone who really cared for him.
A classic example of the ends justifying the means. But Tarantino doesn't let us off the hook that easily.
No.
He makes us face the emotional consequences of Mr. Orange's choices.
Right.
The pain that he inflicts on others and this ultimately tragic outcome.
It's not a simple good versus evil.
No.
I mean, Tarantino presents us with these characters who they operate in shades of gray.
They do.
They're criminals.
Yeah.
But they also show moments of humanity.
Yes.
Loyalty, even vulnerability.
Absolutely. And that's what makes them so compelling.
It's
like we may not condone their actions.
Right.
But we get their motivations.
Yeah.
Their fears, their desires.
It's true.
And it makes the betrayals and the violence hit even harder.
Oh, for sure.
It's like he's holding up a mirror to society.
Yeah.
And he's forcing us to look at our own perceptions of good and bad.
Right. Right and wrong.
Yeah. How far would we go to achieve our goal?
It's what we want.
Who would we betray?
It's true. Those are tough questions.
They are.
And Reservoir Dogs doesn't give us those easy answers.
It doesn't.
But it makes us confront those uncomfortable truths about human nature.
It does. And he does it all with such style.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the music, the dialogue.
Yeah.
But even just the visual aesthetic of the film.
Oh, yeah.
So distinct, so memorable.
Totally.
That stark, minimalist setting, those sharp contrasts of light and shadow.
Uh-huh.
The almost theatrical use of violence.
It all comes together.
It all adds to the film's impact.
Yeah, he creates a unique visual language. He does.
That's both stylish and unsettling.
Yes.
He doesn't shy away from showing the brutality of this world.
Not at all. But he does it in a way
Yeah.
that's captivating and thought-provoking.
Yeah, it's like he's pushing the boundaries
He is.
of what we expect from a crime film.
Right.
Challenging us to rethink our own relationship with violence.
Absolutely. And the music.
Oh, the music.
The way he uses it.
Yeah.
Heightens the tension, the irony.
Genius.
It's pure genius. The soundtrack's not just background noise.
Right.
It's like another character.
Totally.
Like, think about how Stuck in the Middle with You plays during that torture scene.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, it's jarring.
So jarring.
It really highlights that dark humor.
Yeah.
And the unsettling nature of his vision.
It's horrifying but entertaining.
It is.
At the same time, which is a testament to his ability to balance those things.
He walks that tightrope so well.
He does. He really does.
The darkness, the wit.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the dialogue. Oh, the dialogue.
Tarantino's characters, they don't just talk.
No, they don't.
They spar with words.
They spar, yeah.
It's full of pop culture references, sharp wit, and surprisingly, like, a lot of philosophical depth.
It's true. And it's like every line is crafted to be both entertaining and revealing of their personality.
Exactly. I always find myself quoting this film.
Me too, constantly.
It just stays with you.
It does. It's provocative. It's stylish.
It is.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece of modern cinema.
And speaking of masterpieces, we've got more to explore.
We do.
We're going to come back after a quick break to discuss the lasting impact of Reservoir Dogs and its influence on filmmaking.
Can't wait.
Don't go anywhere. I'm still thinking about like the final moments of the film.
Oh, yeah.
The way Tarantino just leaves things unresolved with so many unanswered questions.
Right.
It's like he wants us to keep talking about it.
Oh, he does. He doesn't give us those easy answers.
No.
He makes us wrestle with it. The ambiguity, the moral gray areas, the consequences of their choices.
It's a film that really stays with you.
It does.
It makes you think and rethink.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, like, what would you do if you were in their shoes?
Right.
How far would you go for loyalty?
Yeah.
Could you forgive a betrayal?
Tough questions.
And these aren't just questions about the characters. Yeah. They're about us, about human nature.
Exactly. And that's why it's still so relevant today.
Yeah.
It's not just a period piece. It's
timeless.
It's timeless.
Before the break, we were talking about like the lasting impact of this film.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just a hit with the critics. It really changed cinema.
It shook things up.
It did. Reservoir Dogs became like this landmark film for independent cinema.
For sure.
It proved that you don't need a ton of money.
Right.
Or big stars.
You don't?
To make a powerful, stylish film.
It's inspiring.
It's inspiring. It shows what's possible
really.
When you have a vision. It's dedication to your craft.
And of course, it launched Tarantino's whole career.
It did. It established him as like
a force.
A major force in filmmaking.
Reservoir Dogs was his calling card.
It was.
This declaration of his style, his voice.
It paved the way for Pulp Fiction, for Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Films that pushed those boundaries even further.
And its influence goes way beyond Tarantino himself.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you see Reservoir Dogs everywhere.
Everywhere.
In crime films, TV shows, even video games.
It's true. The nonlinear storytelling, the sharp dialogue, the characters.
Those archetypes.
Yeah.
They become staples of the genre.
I mean, think about how many films have used that color-coded naming convention.
Right. Or that blend of violence and humor.
It's become like a signature.
It has.
It's a testament to just how original this film was.
Yeah.
And its impact on pop culture.
Reservoir Dogs, it inspires.
Yeah.
It challenges filmmakers.
And audiences.
Yes. It reminds us that even within these genre conventions, you can innovate.
Yeah.
You can push boundaries.
Yeah.
You can create something totally original.
And it reminds us that sometimes the best stories are the ones that leave us with more questions.
The ones that make you think.
The ones that linger in your mind.
Absolutely.
Long after the film is over.
So, if you haven't seen Reservoir Dogs yet,
Gotta see it.
add it to your list. just be ready for a wild ride.
It's not your average heist film.
Not at all. It demands your attention. It provokes your thoughts.
It makes you think.
And it stays with you.
It does.
A true masterpiece.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Reservoir Dogs.
It was a good one.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
As we explored the dark and stylish world of Tarantino's debut.
So much fun.
We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating.